Hello. No monkey business. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this, second attempt at the Planet of the Apes reflection. Sorry about the one last week. There were some technical issues.
Monkey with banana.
Yeah, there was a long delay. I don't know why. But not to worry. We're back here again this week to redo what we did last week and more. So yeah, today we're going to be reflecting on all five original Planet of the Apes movies. So there's Planet of the Apes, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, Escape from the Planet of the Apes, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, and Battle for the Planet of the Apes. With myself and the Watcher. So let's kick this shit off. So Jack, what did you think of the original Planet of the Apes film from 1968?
Well, don't throw that ape shit at me. What bananas? No, yeah, yeah. The original Planet of the Apes film. I mean, what can I say? I mean, it's definitely a sci-fi classic. Uh, it stars Charlton Heston, of course, and the story is basically that Taylor, Taylor, arrives on this planet or what he thinks is this planet. It's like starts off in 1978. There's this expedition. These uh, four crewmen and Taylor, and they're going on this expedition to to the future, and they go in these stasis pods, and they arrive in the year 3078, so 2000 years
Oh,
later, and they crash land in the ocean and they manage to escape. It turns out one of their crew is actually dead. She's been aged by the stasis. Well, there's a stasis leak and she dies. And
oh well, shit happens.
yes, but yeah, they escape and yeah, we're introduced to the main characters and we're introduced to Taylor, played by Charlton Heston, and the characters in Planet of the Apes are very interesting. Taylor, played by Charlton Heston, he's this he's this astronaut, and he's very cynical about the human race. He's very cynical about mankind, and we kind of see why he's like that. And he's telling his other crewmates that that mankind are basically doomed in some ways, and we see them sort of trek across the whole uh, planet, although it's not Star Trek, but yeah, um, but yeah, they start to explore this whole planet, and I mean, I think the first sort of like half an hour, first minutes of the film is maybe my favorite part of the film, just to see the sort of character interactions between Taylor and the rest. Like we see the other crew members that aren't that cynical, and they went on this expedition to explore, and we sort of see this barren wasteland. They think that nobody lives on this planet, and then of course they stumble across this tribe, and it turns out, there are these apes, and they see these
Oh,
humans. Yeah, you see these humans, and they can't talk, and these apes are hunting them, and it's kind of like a parallel to what happened on Earth, and we see like Taylor's friends get captured, and he gets captured, and we see basically this planet of apes, as the film says. We see this basically this ape society, this ape version of Earth, and we see, we're introduced to some of the main characters. We're introduced to uh, trying to remember their names. Oh, Cornelius, yeah, Cornelius and Zero. We're introduced to Cornelius and Zero, and then there are these sort of they're these
well, apes.
ape, yeah, apes, yeah, they're these ape scientists, and played by Roddy McDowell and Kim Hunter, and they're great. Roddy McDowell, he would star in all five of the originals, and he's great. And he's kind of like, I mean, he's kind of like Andy Serkis before Andy Serkis took over. The way Andy Serkis does all the voices now, he was kind of like, I
Yeah,
mean,
like Roddy McDowell was the Well, he was the person that looked most like an ape, to be honest. I mean, in his face. I mean, in real life, he looks kind of similar to an ape. I mean, no offense, but I don't know, like the way he smiles and everything. There's a lot of monkey business going on there.
I'm the king of the swingers now, Jungle VIP.
No, yeah, I mean, with all the greatest respect, I mean, no, but you're right. He's a great actor, and he was essentially a precursor for Andy Serkis. Although with Andy Serkis, it was more of the technology that came with him. Uh, with Roddy McDowall, it was his performance and his looks, I suppose as
Yeah,
well.
and we can't forget the prosthetic. It wasn't just.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that well, yeah,
yeah.
part of the look. Sorry, carry on.
No, no, it's fine. But yeah. So we're introduced to Cornelius and Zira, and they're sort of like ape scientist couple. They're really interesting because when we see when Taylor first meets them, like they sort of take a shine to him. They call him like Bright Eyes and Bright Eyes. But yeah, um, uh, like the Wallace and Gromit song. Yeah, but yeah, yeah, they call him Bright Eyes, and like we see that his throat sort of like he's hurt and he can't really like he's trying to speak, and then like they're like, and the apes are like, oh, they're trying to speak, oh, the humans think he could speak, and um, yeah, it's really interesting because it's essentially the whole film essentially like a parallel to Earth. What's really interesting about the original film
Oh,
is it's
funny
sort
you
of
should say that.
yeah, it's sort of like, I mean, what's interesting about the original film is that yeah, it's basically a comment on human society. It's a comment on evolution of Charles Darwin's theory, and it's sort of a whole comment on Earth society. Like we're introduced to Dr. Zaius. Oh, Dr. Zaius. Yeah, get your hands off me, you dirty ape. But yeah, and yeah, and speaking of that, yeah, you have that famous scene, when they're taking him out, and he's like, get your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape. And um,
No.
no, yeah, but yeah,
Sorry.
no, it's fine. But yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah, so we're introduced to Doctor Zest, and he's sort of like he's the protector of the faith, and he's also the head of scientific community, and we see basically it's kind of like they worship Caesar and their god, and they believe that ape was made in God's image, and it's very similar to human society in that you
There's
have
a lot of kind of parallels to kind of Christian belief in that sense.
yeah
The whole kind of made in ape was made in its own image. Ape was made to kind of, although there's certain ideals obviously which are very different. Like apes were
yeah
made to dominate humans. Like there's no sense of equality, which is the big difference. And I think that's what's very intriguing is that the apes don't believe in equality. They just believe in apes. Apes should rule, but I mean, they have their preferences of how they treat people, as we see in the films. They don't treat people in the nicest of fashions. But yeah,
yeah, no, exactly, like they're sort of like a totalitarian state. They're kind of like religious fanatics,
yeah,
sort of like the way it used to be like in the Middle Ages and stuff, sort of like God fearing and all that, and it's
yeah.
kind of like
I mean, they don't really have a huge kind of insight into the evolution. What
yeah,
Dr.
they're sort of
Zane?
yeah, they're sort of like fundamental believers, and it's really interesting because you see like how their society works, and it does parallel what happened, hundreds of years ago on Earth, and what still happens in some parts of the world. But yeah, we see, Dr. Zest, he's sort of the head of scientific community, but he's very stubborn. Like, when he first hears that Taylor can talk, he doesn't believe it, and he believes man isn't as smart as no, sorry, ape isn't as no, sorry, man isn't as smart as ape. And we see, he's sort of battling Taylor, and throughout the whole film, Taylor's sort of on trial. He's trying to, like, he writes. There's that bit where he takes the notepad off one of the gorillas, and he writes, my name is Taylor, and they realize he can write, and he starts to talk, and it's really interesting because we see all the other sort of ape factions as well. Like we see, there's the high ups, like the intellectual ones are really the orangutans. Like, yeah, high up the tree, yeah.
Woo!
I mean, as a pun, but yeah, but yeah. But yeah, we see sort of like the ones that sort of have the authority, and they're the intellectuals are the orangutans, which is Dr. Zaius and all the others, and then you have sort of the gorillas, which are the lowest. They're just kind of like the brute force. They're just kind of the muscle, and then you have
Yeah,
then you have the monkeys, and um yeah, and it's really interesting, and then of course, Taylor tries to escape. Like he tries to convince Cornelius and Zero, and he finds his friends. It's quite disturbing what happens to his friends. Like you see, one of them's like in an exhibition, like in a museum exhibition, and the other has been
they
Lebon.
killed his
Lebon.
they killed his two friends, and they put them on the as ornaments. They stuffed them, which is quite
Yeah,
horrible, really. I mean, when you see that, and it's a shocking revelation for Taylor.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the other one they lobotomized, and Zaya says, "Oh, I don't know anything about that." But yeah, like you sort of have like throughout the film, like he's trying to escape, and like we encounter Nova, and she's sort of this she's this human, and she's she can't talk, and we find out that the humans are sort of basically the versions of the apes. They're the ones who are being dissected on and tested in laboratories, and it's like how man treats ape, like even now. And we see Taylor, like he's sort of paired off with her, and
Yeah, I mean,
uh,
there are the often mistreatment is obviously. I mean, we don't see obviously a full extent of torture, but there are obviously torture methods in there. But there's a lot of experimentation as well, and I think that's something that did happen. I'm not sure if it still happens, but I think it did happen back in the day with apes. They were experimented on.
yeah. But I mean, yeah, and yeah. So I mean, you don't see the full extent of the torture because I mean, it is sort of like I think it's a PG or whatever it is, or
Your
yeah,
discretion.
yes. Um, yeah, they won't be flinging any ape shit at the TV, but yeah, but yeah. So we sort of paired off with Nova, and they're kind of like they kind of like want him to mate with Nova, and if it was me, I'd be in there. Yeah.
Oh, definitely made
Um.
them better. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So we see like he tries to escape, and he encounters more of these humans, and he's I mean they go he's put on trial, and you see that he tries to stand for himself, and Cornelius and Zero are trying to like defend him, and they're sort of questioning the whole idea
Yeah.
um of the society, and like Zaius, he's just like he's stubborn, and he doesn't listen, and you find out about the forbidden zone, and they can't go in because they say it's dead. But we see Taylor and all the others, they decide to go there, and Taylor, he loses the trial, but they decide to go to the forbidden zone, and they go into this cave and find remnants of man, and like they find a doll, and he's like, well, could they make a doll that could talk? And Zaius, he basically admits that yeah, he knew man was here before, but he knew how destructive they were, so he tried to cover it up, and yeah, we see he blows up the cave, and I mean, and Taylor,
Dr. Zaius does live. He does get away.
yeah, yeah, he
Oh,
does live, and I mean, like, Taylor sort of forces him to keep his word and not put Cornelius and Zero on trial, but of course he's released and he puts him on trial, and we see Taylor, he wanders off, and and basically says is if he's trying to look for what he needs, then he'll be as shocked, and we have that great movie twist at the end, when he gets off his horse, and he's like, "You maniacs, you blew it up," and it's the destroyed Statue of Liberty, and it's absolutely
AKA,
ruined by the DVD
yeah,
cover.
I was going to say, AKA the DVD cover.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking
Yeah. I
Egypt
mean, one of
decided to do that.
yeah, I mean, one of the great movie twists of all time, absolutely ruined by the front DVD cover. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Yeah,
New York, New York, it's a heck of a town.
yeah, but actually, yeah, I mean, if you're wondering, like, this is the for anyone who doesn't know, this is um the
Don't
front
spoil
cover of the DVD.
I wouldn't spoil the twist. Oh, too late.
Well, if they're watching Planet of the Apes, they already seen it. But yeah, um, fucking ruins it. But yeah, yeah. But yeah, overall, I mean, that movie twist is so shocking because yeah, you thought it was another planet, but it turns out it's Earth, and I mean, and that's where it ends basically, and it's kind of depressing note to end on. But I mean, the original Planet of the Apes, it's a great film. It's a great sci-fi film. It's a great monkey film.
Oh god.
Yeah.
And
But
it's a
yeah,
very political, uh, well, thriller or
drama.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, political drama. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, and a thriller as well. Yeah. But yeah, and even the politics in Planet of the Apes is interesting. Unlike the Phantom Menace.
Taxation.
Yeah, I mean the politics. You think if you're watching it, oh, it's going to be boring, but no, it's done in a very intriguing way, and it's not boring. It's not like Star Wars where you have taxation of the
Yeah,
trade.
yeah. I mean, at least we know where the money's going, George. But I mean, with this, with this, it's more the political debate about evolution, whereas Phantom Menace was about, the trade deficits. It's like, this is fucking Star Wars. Do I give a fuck about taxation? Piss off. But anyway,
Yeah.
sorry. Back to Planet of the Apes. You were saying.
No, but yeah, overall, Planet of the Apes is a great film. It's got a great cast. Charlton Heston as Taylor is really charismatic. He's great in the lead role as Taylor. You have the others as well, like Roddy McDowell and Kim Hunter, and you've got Doctor Zess as well. I don't know the actor's name, but
I think his
yeah, he's
name
great.
Maurice Evans.
Yeah, Morris Evans, yeah. And overall, I think it's a great film. I mean, the production's great. The prosthetic as well, I have to say, for 1968, the prosthetic is really good. It's really well done. Even for today's standards, it
It holds
stands up
up.
well. Yeah, it
I
holds
still
up. Yeah,
think
I mean,
actually. Sorry to interrupt you. The prosthetics are actually a lot better than any of the sequels, which were almost as good, but also better than the Tim Burton one by far.
yeah,
The Tim Burton prosthetics were weird.
yeah. Some of them are good. Some of them are a bit like what the fuck. But yeah, we'll get to that disaster in a minute. We'll soon anyway. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the first Planet of the Apes film, like I said, it's a great film. It's a great sci-fi film. It's a great political drama. It's very interesting the parallels they have to human society, and it's a great comment on sort of human culture, and it's directed well. The sets are amazing. The sets are really great. I mean, that's one thing as well. Like, even though the apes are advanced, they're still not advanced as like humans in the sense of they're not advanced. I mean, they're still living in cave huts, but they have
It's
guns.
not they're not technologically advanced.
Yeah, but but I mean, overall, great cast as well, and Franklin J. Schaffner made a great film, and it's a masterpiece, and I'm gonna have to give it a no choice but a 10 out of 10.
Be sure you don't want to change your mind.
No, fucking zero, zero. Only two.
um, excuse me, sorry. Um, yeah, well, there's not much more I can add to that. Planet of the Apes is one of my um favorite sci-fi movies that I've seen so far. It's it's very intriguing. That's what I like about it. It's not a typical sci-fi film. It's more a political drama, to be honest, and I think that works in its favor. I really like the story, and it's kind of mirrors the whole kind of Charles Darwin thing about the debate of evolution. Where does all of this stem from, and how was the universe created, and all of that jazz. And that's addressed very well in this first film. I really like the tension between the characters. I mean, first of all, the characters are great. I mean, Taylor is a great lead, played by Charlton Heston, and the biggest downside is that they didn't continue his journey in the sequels. But his role here is brilliant, and I like the fact that he gets involved, and he tries to make a stand against Dr. Zaius and all of the other apes. Excuse me, sorry, I was going to burp. Yeah, and I like the friendship that he develops with Cornelius and Zero, and they are such lovely characters. They're very warm, and they're very accepting of him, which is really nice. Like there are some really good scenes here. I think, like you said, the first half an hour is a nice slow build up to what then becomes a very tense kind of drama. And there are a few kind of thrills and spills. There's a few action moments, but the story is not action based. It does have action, but it's not action based. And the action that is there is great. There's like obviously the famous scene where Taylor is he speaks for the first time. He says, "Get your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!" And everyone obviously reacts like, "Ah, he can talk! He can talk! He can talk!
I can sing!"
Oh my, help me, Dr. Zaius! Anyway.
That didn't actually happen. That was The Simpsons.
Yeah, oh, sorry, Simpsons reference. Yeah, but before we start singing, yeah, I think the production design for this is great, and it still holds up today. You believe that, you believe this world, that the apes live in this world where everything is very much in its early stages. I mean, they've
Kind of an upside down world in a way.
yeah. I mean, because of the year as well. I mean, it's almost like you said. It's almost like a parallel world to the normal Earth. It doesn't feel like it's the same Earth. It doesn't feel like it's the same planet. Which is what I think is quite interesting, is that the apes aren't technologically advanced. They're advanced in terms of their knowledge of well, what they think is their knowledge of evolution and anatomy, and how they were made, and etc. And that debate is something that is really intriguing and is the driving force of the film. It's not like the most emotional film in the world, but it does have its heart in its places, particularly with some of the characters. I like Nova as well. Nova's really
Yeah.
nice. She's a really nice character, and she's pretty fit as well.
Yeah, I mean, she says nothing, but she's great.
I mean, what's there to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
When the world's going ape shit, what can you say?
well, oh dear, Grace Jones the ape. The prosthetics are fantastic, and I believe the hair and makeup did win an Oscar. So good job for them. I think it's just very convincing. Back in the day, there was no such thing as motion capture, so at the time, I mean, I think it still holds up. I think in all 5 of the movies, there's all of the apes, or most of the apes look really real. They look really, obviously the budget decreased for the later films, but for this one, it all looks fabulous. And I mean, Franklin J. Schaffner's direction is really good as well, because he really enables you to kind of, it's kind of a juxtaposition, really, because the story is so real and raw. It's almost and political, and it's almost as if he's trying to kind of trick the audience into thinking he's bringing them into this fantasy world, but he's not. That's the clever thing, I think, as well, is that he he plays the audience. He's like, you think Taylor's on another planet, but obviously he's not. And then it all culminates in that twist. I think the storytelling is perfect, and it's the best storytelling, along with Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, that the series has ever had, and Rise as well. I'd give Rise that as well. And I think
And
it's
Tim Burton's one.
oh fuck that. But no, I just love the poignancy of his direction and the storytelling. It's there's so much attention to detail, and I agree. The climax is great, like when they're on the beach and then in the cave, and just that the tension between Zeus and Taylor is it's just something I always find very very enjoyable, like very entertaining. You just invest so much in it, and the twist is quite shocking as well. If the DVD cover and fucking shit all over it, then maybe it would still be as impactful as it was. But I mean, it is an old film and it's been around for a while. But even so, the DVD cover is a spit in the face to the film, really. Yeah, and the film is paced really well. It moves along. It doesn't drag at all. I think it's the right length. It's about 1 hour 50 minutes roughly. And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. And all the acting is great. The music I think is really good too. Very
Yeah.
immersive. It has that kind of tribal feel to it. And you really well you see the extent of the kind of the violence and extremism of the apes, and but you can ultimately through that that is displayed through Doctor Zaius and his mad with knowledge, mad with power. It's that kind of, like you said, totalitarianism. It's all run on this kind of corrupt government, false ideals and all of that, and that's always very good. And
Not like listening to anyone, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. And I think because of that, the movie is an absolute masterpiece, and which is why I think people should look back on it. Or if you don't like Planet of the Apes, just watch the first movie. Just watch this one. If you're not convinced by any of the others, watch this one, because this one is, I don't know if it's really relatable, but it's the one you can kind of look at it. It's the most realistic film, I think, in terms of the story. I think the plot is the most realistic. It's kind of it's meant to be played obviously as ironic because of the
And it's the best. It's probably like the best told of all them as well.
yeah, exactly, you're right. And yeah, out of the five originals, it is clearly the best. I mean, there's no contest. The next four just don't live up to this. But yeah, I love this film. I think it's great, and I was really blown away by it when I first watched it on DVD. So I am gonna give Planet of the Apes a 10 out of 10. It's a masterpiece, and it's a classic, and it's just a shame that sequels didn't live up to the mantle. So let's move on to the wonderfully weird Beneath the Planet of the Apes. So Jack, after you.
Yeah, so Beneath the Planet of the Apes. I mean, yeah, I mean after the first one was such a box office success and critically it was well received.
Everyone went
I mean,
bananas over it.
yeah, everyone went ape shit. Um yeah, everyone went bananas and yeah, and everyone was flinging their ape shit. But yeah, I mean after the first one, which was such a great film and such a box office success, I mean you were kind of expecting a sequel, but you weren't as well, if you know what I mean. Like, I mean, how are
Yeah,
you gonna sort of continue the
yeah.
story after that? But
I mean, I'm sure people wanted the story to continue, but that's the thing. How would they have done it? I mean, even if it was just one film, then it would still have been. It would have made sense because all of the loose ends would have been tied up within just the one film.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, but they decided to make it into a franchise with this film, and Beneath the Planet of the Apes, it's directed by Ted Post, who I think he's a good director. I mean, he directed Hang 'Em High of Clint Eastwood and Magnum Force, which is the second Dirty Harry film, my favorite films. And I think he's a good director, but to be honest, I just don't think he quite lived up to the mark with this film. I mean, I think the problem with Beneath the Planet of the Apes is that it's a very confused sequel. It kind of it's sort of you know it sort of tries to pick up where the first one left off, but it doesn't, if you know what I mean. I mean, it starts off with we see this another Earth expedition crash lands, and I mean, already you have a continuity error. It says the year's 3056, I think, or 55 or something like that, and the first one took place in 3078, but yeah, that was a mistake on
Yeah,
the.
that was only the first couple of shots.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean, yeah, I mean, you're sort of thinking, "Oh dear," but I guess it's a minor thing for now. But yeah. So we see this, space, space
spaceman.
astronaut, yeah, spaceman, yeah, Buzz Lightyear. So yeah, yeah, we're introduced to Brent or Brett, or I mean, he can't really make up his name in this film. I mean,
Brent.
um,
His
yeah,
name's Brent, but yeah, well, you
yeah.
might call him what you will.
I know, but like one of the astronauts, I think the leader called him Brett at one point, and I was like,
Brett.
what? when I was watching when I was watching the film, but yeah, anyway, yeah, Brent, uh, or Ben, I don't know,
And
Brent, yeah, but anyway, uh, yeah. So anyway, yeah, he's this astronaut, and they've been sent on this expedition to sort of rescue Taylor, and they crash land, and we see his leader dies, and basically, Brent, he's just a pointless character. I mean, he really is just he's a wimp. I mean, he's just a he's just a Taylor ripoff. I mean, that's all he is. He looks like Charlton Heston. He sounds like, I mean, he's just a ripoff basically. And you don't. I'm sorry, but you just don't give a shit. You don't give
I
a
mean,
crap about Brent. I mean, he's
first of
just.
all, like the audience are wondering where the fuck is Taylor, and what happened to him. Because immediately on the story, they never tell us what happened to Taylor. I know that they kind of explain it later on briefly, but it still doesn't make sense. Like, how did all of a sudden Taylor just suddenly disappeared into the Forbidden Zone? It didn't really make sense. And how did they know that he needed rescuing? It's just
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just really
convenient.
odd, to be honest. And Brent, I mean, you try to engage with this character, but I mean, all he's there for is just to is to serve the plot. That's all he is there. He's just
Yeah,
this 2D character that this cardboard cutout that you don't give a fuck about. You don't know about his background. You don't know anything about him, and you're just like, well, what purposes does he have? Just to fill in Charlton Heston's boots. Like you said, I mean, what's really strange about Beneath is he finds Nova on the horse, but suddenly Taylor's gone, and apparently Charlton Heston, when they were making Beneath, like, he didn't want to be in it, but he agreed to be in it at the end. But the problem with Beneath is that you're just wondering, where the hell is Taylor, and and it could have worked better if Taylor was sort of the main focus, continuing on his journey. But anyway, yeah, I mean, the budget for this film as well was actually less than the first film. I mean, the first film actually made a lot at the box office, so I don't know why they cut the budget for this. I mean, it seems to be, that for every sequel the budget just got less and less, and I can understand, like, the sequels, each one getting, progressively they didn't get better, but for the first sequel, we expected maybe even a bigger budget than the first film, not like lower budget. But
I mean,
yeah,
well, the sequel did come out like only a couple of years after as well, so they would have
yeah,
had enough time, to gather the money.
mm, yeah, they would have had enough time, exactly. But yeah, um, and I mean, it's just kind of, yeah. I mean, the whole plot of it is just really weird. The whole plot of Beneath the Planet of the Apes is really weird. Like, you're introduced to this sort of human cults. Like, they're these basically, because of the nuclear fallout, they're mutated, and they have all these weird powers, like they can read your mind and stuff, and it's like, And I mean, okay. I mean, I understand radiation. I understand radiation can deform you, but I'm sorry, but you can't read people's minds. You know,
You
through
can't control people's
mutation.
minds either.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that part of the plot is just so like mind-boggling. I mean, I'm just scratching my head. But, yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
but like, I mean, it's just so weird. And
And
hold on
why,
one sec.
why are those people worshipping the bomb? I know there's the Judgment Day thing. I suppose that is the reason, but it's just like, why would they bury themselves underground? Like, what? Why would they hide themselves away? Hello?
Sorry, so my brother just called me, but
That's alright.
yeah, I don't know why they were worshiping the bomb. That's just kind of another sort of weird thing about Beneath is like, yeah, they're this cult and they all start worshiping this bomb and yeah, I mean they have all these like weird mind powers and you're just thinking to yourself, okay, so are we watching Planet of the Apes here? Are we watching? Are we watching something else? Yeah.
It's like Songs of Praise if it was a sci-fi.
Hold on, I'll be back just one sec. Can you talk
Well, how long are you going to
about 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
be? Very well. Okay. Well, Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Um, yeah, it's good. It's good. I mean, it was never, ever gonna live up to the hype. Well, it was never gonna live up to the mantle of the first movie, and to be honest, it doesn't. I mean, as Jack has just said, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, it's one of those cases where I don't know, like it's really weird. Like I don't know, like the story. I'm not really convinced by the story. I don't believe it was very good because it doesn't really continue that political debate that the first one so poignantly strived to tell. Uh, it just turns into a bit of a rescue mission and then another bit of a plot, and it just doesn't really feel like a proper continuation apart from the whole rescuing Taylor thing, which is not even that much of a plot, to be honest. I mean, obviously we're introduced to Brent, or Brett or Brad or whatever the fuck his name is, who comes in to rescue Taylor and who meets Nova, and we have to follow him. And from then it becomes kind of a retread of some of the territory from the first movie. Brent is introduced to Cornelius and Zira, etc. You get the plot, you get the gist of it. It goes on from there. Point being, the film just doesn't capture any intrigue. It's just a big chase. Like there's some nice action sequences, and it romps along, but you feel disappointed. There's no real sense of intrigue or drama. They're just moving from one place to the next without any. It all becomes very meaningless as well. Also because of the weird parts, like they head to the Forbidden Zone and encounter these weird people who worship this bomb. Um, and these people worship this bomb, and obviously because of the whole Judgment Day thing, and it's just I don't know, like it's very weird. There's particular moments like the whole mind control powers that doesn't really work for me. I don't understand why that was there when they make Brent do all this weird stuff and they make Brent kiss Nova. That just weirds me out. Also, they make Brent and Taylor fight each other. It's just not. It's just completely meaningless, and it just deviates too much from the first movie. So, I mean, it's not a bad film. You can enjoy it as a fun romp, and it's a fun adventure. Um, I'd say it's good. It is good. It is good. I like Cornelius and Zira in this film. I mean, they don't have as much to do, um, but yeah, they're both good. They're both good, and they serve their roles, and the prosthetics on them look good. Um, Dr. Zayas is well in it very briefly, but I think, to be honest, Beneath the Planet of the Apes was a bit of a missed opportunity. I mean, it is a good film, but if they'd have had Taylor in the in the main role and had Brent as the prisoner, as a prisoner in the Forbidden Zone, that would have been a bit more meaningful, because then that way you would have been able to continue the story in a much more interesting way. Because ultimately, Brent is really pointless, and he just doesn't serve any purpose to the plot apart from to rescue Taylor, who we see at the end. The ending is the climax is pretty good. The end fight is really not is really really cool. When Taylor destroys the Earth by pressing the bomb, that's really good. But um, to be honest, yeah, it's a bit of a disappointment after the first one, but it's still good fun. Romps along. The production design isn't as good as the first one, but it's still good. I guess. I mean, also the Hamilton who plays Nova, she her character sadly kind of dies, which is a shame in one way. Yeah.
Sorry,
Oh,
sorry for
welcome
the
back.
interruption.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just talking about Beneath. Um, I'm
Go
just
ahead.
I'll wrap up very briefly. But yeah, I don't have much else to say about it. I mean, the acting is fine. It's directed competently, but it just lacks the intrigue. It's a fun, like, action sci-fi film, but it doesn't feel like it is a proper continuation of the first movie, and that's the biggest letdown for me. But it's still good fun with a pretty powerful moments and a powerful ending. But ultimately, it's just fucking weird, and you know, like literally, you look beneath the Planet of the Apes and you just go, "What the fuck?" I mean, like I can't put my finger on it. Like, what the fuck is this? But not in a bad way. You're just like, I mean, there's some good stuff in here, but I mean, there's a particularly good sequence with the carriage. That's a good action scene. Like, there's good action scenes, but the storytelling is, as you said last week, Jack, a bit flimsy, and I can't praise the movie more than what I can. I think it's decent, but it could be much better. So my rating is for Beneath the Planet of the Apes 7 out of 10. I like the music too. The music's good. But yeah, finish up and you can carry on with your thoughts.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much in agreement with you. I mean, I just think it's a very average film. I mean, I think Ted Post, his direction is really confused because it feels like, it feels like he hasn't really watched the first film, or he only like watched parts of it, and I mean, I think the main
Sorry, is it
problem.
right to ask you a question?
Sorry, yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Would you say that this film is disjointed?
Yeah, I think I would, yeah. I mean, it still does have a narrative and a story, and you can get that. But I mean, I think the main problem with it is, like you said, it doesn't really feel like a continuation of the first one. It feels like, it feels like there should have been something before this film. Like there should have been like an epilogue or something to tell us what
Hmm.
happened.
It feels
I
like
mean,
more of a spin-off, to be honest.
yeah. Well, yeah, I guess it does feel like that in some ways. I don't know if I'd say it felt like a spin-off, but it feels like like an episode of a TV show or something. Like it's like you know, I mean, it feels. I mean, yeah, they did have a Planet of the Apes TV show, but yeah, I mean, it feels like part of a different sort of. Kind of feels part of a different sort of Planet of the Apes universe in some ways, because because I mean, it does sort of, I mean, it doesn't really continue where the first one left off. I mean, Taylor's gone for some reason, and we don't really find out what happened to him till the end, and you still don't really know
Yeah,
why that
because
happened to
basically
him.
he just walks over to the edge of the cliff and then he just disappears. It's like, well, is
Yeah,
that it?
exactly.
Yeah, is that it?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I mean, like I said, I mean, it's really weird with the whole, the sort of underground cult. Like, I mean, the whole powers thing is, I'm gonna be honest, is a bit stupid. I mean,
Go go
yeah,
Power
they can,
Rangers.
yeah, I mean, they can use their mental abilities, and it's just
And then
like,
they have that weird beeping as well with the sound effects, like ooh, like a binary sound.
yeah, I know, it's like, give me a break for God's sake.
That fight
You know,
between Brent and Taylor goes on for way too long for me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and yeah, you do have that fight as well. Like, when they force Taylor and Brent to fight, and it's quite a dark scene. But yeah, I mean, it does go on too long, and yeah, and when you're finally reintroduced to Taylor, it's like, where the fuck were you? I mean,
Yeah,
it's kind of like, it's just. I mean, that's the whole film basically. I mean, and it kind of repeats the first film as well. Like, Brent goes to the village, and suddenly Cornelius and Zira, they're fine. I mean, I thought they were being put on trial for treason at the end of the first film, but no, suddenly they're fine, and they're like, "Oh, are you Taylor?" And it's like, "No," and they have to escape the apes again, and Doctor Zess again, and I mean, you do have the finale, which is really good, and you're reunited with Nova, and when she says her first word,
and only
Taylor, and then what?
first and only line. Yeah,
Yeah, and then she dies, and it's quite sad they die, but it's kind of like you kind of get pissed off a bit as well. Like, I mean, we've only just seen Taylor come back and he's killed off. I mean, when Brent dies, you're like, oh, yeah,
oh well.
but
See, you guess he won't be in the third one.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, the ending. I mean, the ending is powerful. Like, where he's like, "You bloody bastards!" And, he meets Doctor Zess again, and he presses the button and blows up the world. I mean, the way they cut the ending's a bit abrupt, but it's a powerful ending. But yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, I think Beneath the Planet of the Apes, it's a very, it's a very muddled sequel. I mean, there are good. I mean, there are good bits in there. I mean, it's not a complete failure. It's still pretty good, but it just kind of feels like it's just very weird.
I
Like I
think it's
said,
good fun. It's good
yeah,
fun, but as a Planet of the Apes film, it fails.
and when you're watching it immediately after the first one, there's a lot of things they don't resolve in it. There are a lot of things that they don't really explain, and it just kind of feels like it just feels like there's something missing from it. And I think Ted Post, either he didn't see the first film or he only saw bits of it on TV or something, or because the first film, there was a sense of completion, and here it's kind of like,
Hmm.
well, well, what's going on,
Yeah,
and
I
and
mean, yeah, you could say the first one had a sense of completion, but also it did leave the door open as to okay, well, what's going to happen now? Now that he
yeah,
knows that it is Earth, what's going to happen now? Which I mean, I suppose either way, whether they made a sequel or not, it's still a powerful ending. With this, you're like, okay, so this must be the end then, because he destroyed the Earth. Maybe not.
yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, I mean, you think the first one was sort of a definitive ending, but this one you really think, yeah, this must be the end of the franchise. I mean, they blew up the whole planet, but yeah, they make another one. But I mean, overall, I still enjoy it. Yeah, it's a fun sequel, like you said, but I mean, it's definitely not as good as the original, but it's definitely not the worst of the sequels. We'll get to that. But yeah, overall, I'm gonna give Beneath 7 out of 10.
Hello.
Hello? Yeah,
Yeah, sorry about that. I was interrupted. Have you
yeah,
finished?
I gave it a 7 out of 10. Yeah, I'm finished.
Oh, interesting. Right, let's move back in time to well, or forward to the third movie.
Back to the Future. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun. Woo, woo. um, escape from the Planet of the Apes. So after you, Jack.
Yeah, well, after Beneath, you thought maybe the first one was gonna be the only one, but
Just when you thought it couldn't get weirder.
yeah, when you thought it was all over, but yeah, you thought it was over in the first one, then the second one it looked like it was done for good, but yeah, they made a third film, and it's sort of, I mean, out of all the sequels, I have to say this is probably my favorite. Escape from the Planet of the Apes. It's kind of like a first film in reverse. It's instead of the humans being, instead of Taylor being the alien surrounded by these apes, instead of him being the sort of odd one out in this society, this time it's the apes, Cornelius and Zira. I mean, it's not really. I guess you can't. I mean, it's not really Planet of the Apes. It's more like Planet of the Humans, I guess. You know, but
Yeah.
yeah. But and yeah, I mean, the name's quite interesting, Escape from the Planet of the Apes, because it's only at the start they escape. But
Well, no, I suppose also towards the end when they're trying to save the baby as well, they're trying to
yeah,
get away. But
yeah,
yeah,
exactly, exactly. But yeah, I mean, it takes place just after the second film, and we find out that somehow Cornelius and Zira and Doctor Elmo, I mean Milo,
Elmo,
yeah, Sesame Street,
Dr.
yeah,
Elmo,
but
Dr. Elmo, Dr. Elmo. Yeah,
yeah,
sorry.
the fourth one's gonna be on Muppet. The fourth one's gonna be in a Muppet Treasure Island.
Am I an ape or am I an ape?
Yeah, but yeah, but yeah, Escape. Yeah, it takes place after the second one, and somehow they managed to rescue Taylor's ship from the first film, and you're kind of thinking to yourself, but wait, wasn't that shuttle? It sank to the bottom of the sea. Surely it shouldn't work. But anyway, Doctor Milo
It's quite
managed.
convenient, isn't it, that they go back a few years after Taylor had left, back to the 1970s.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, Escape from the Planet of the Apes, like at first, like Taylor, they're sort of mistreated. We're introduced to Steve and I
Uh,
forget her name.
Stephanie, I
Oh,
think.
yeah, Steve and Stephanie or something like that, and they they're basically the human versions of Cornelius and Zira, and we see they're in prison, and yeah, and we're introduced to Doctor Milo, and I mean, Doctor Milo, he's just a pointless character. He's he's just there to serve the plot. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, you have some like good scenes in the jail where it's like they build the blocks and they have the banana and he's like,
Well, they
why
do all
why
those
isn't she go?
tests.
Yeah, and she's like, why isn't she going for the banana? And she's like, because I love bananas, Um, but Milo's death is just so but Milo's death is just so ridiculous. Like when he's strangled to death.
I mean, he's only there to basically explain the theory of time travel. That's it. And then he dies within about 5 minutes of his screen time. Also, one thing I never got was how the hell did, as well as Cornelius and Zero getting out of the escaping the planet just
I'm
before Taylor.
coming down, Alex. Will you shut up?
Oh, you're right.
Sorry about that.
It's all right.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say about Dr. Milo. Um, I never got why, like, how they managed to save him as well as save themselves. Because, where was he in Beneath? Like, where was Dr. Milo in Beneath the Planet of the Apes? And how? Why would they save him? You know?
Yeah, you're wondering who the fuck is this guy? you know. Hello?
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm still. I was just letting you carry on talking.
No, yeah, I was just gonna say, like, yeah, I mean, who the fuck is this guy? Just appears out of nowhere, and then they name the baby after him, Milo. Milo. Fuck. But hold on one sec. Just need to. Oh yeah, I'm back. But yeah, I mean, Doctor Milo's death is so pointless, and like, yeah, you're just introduced to Doctor Hassline, whatever, and you sort of see that he's a prick, and you know, and he wants to like kill them, and you know what's great about Escape, what I really like, is you see Cornelius and Zero sort of living the high life, like they're living it up in the 70s, and you have them with the dresses and the grape juice plus, and you see Hassline being a absolute prick, and we find out Zero is pregnant, and and they try to kill the baby and they escape, and Cornelius accidentally kills the one of the men, and you're introduced to Ricardo Montalban, Khan, but yeah, and yeah, and they swap the babies at the end. That ending is so sad when they shoot Cornelius and Zero, and it's such a powerful ending, and you think it's so sad. I wanted these characters to carry on, but um, overall, Escape, I think it's a great film. Sort of the first film, but in reverse, and I give it a 9 out of 10.
Buongiorno. Hello, Jack. Jack. Hello. Where's he gone? Oh, but he's gone for his dinner. Oh, Jack. Sorry for all of the delays, guys. Don't know where the hell Jack has gone. Suppose I'll just have to wait until he comes back. Well, I'll get started on Escape. Escape from the Planet of the Apes. Now, this one's a bit of a different one. I actually agree with Jack wholeheartedly. Escape from the Planet of the Apes is probably the best of the sequels. Proves to be a very worthy installment in the series. As Jack said, it is pretty much the first film in reverse, in the sense that it's how the apes that are essentially the aliens this time. But it's not completely the same. I like the fact that this is essentially Cornelius and Zira's film. This is their film. You know, it is it's a nice sort of culmination of their character arcs in the first two films, and it's nice to see them kind of. There's a different kind of how to say it really, but there's a different kind of setup here. You know, they're not doing the usual ape stuff that they did in the first two. They're living a celebrity life. You know, they are celebrities and they are going out socializing. They're being recognized worldly, and I like the fact that there's some even more. There's a bit more political tension than what there was in the first one. Well, not a bit more than the first one, but there is a little bit less. There's a bit less than the first one, but a bit more political tension than the second one. So, but it could be explored a bit further. The story is really interesting. And Hassline as the villain, he's great. Um, he's just this absolute prick who will stop at nothing to prove that he is right and that the apes need to be exterminated, to want for a better word. So there's that, you know, and there's also the whole thing with Zira getting pregnant. You know, the two of them are going to have a baby. We're also introduced to Stephanie and Stephen, who are these two human allies who assist Cornelius and Zira in, well, escaping from Hassline and everyone else, which is interesting. You've also got Dr. Milo. I don't know what the deal is with Dr. Milo. He's just very forgettable, to be honest. Dr. Milo doesn't have any relevance to the plot whatsoever. All he's there to do is explain the theory of time travel, and even then, that's not that interesting. You know, it's just, because he's killed off instantly afterwards. You know, it's like, oh, how did we get here back in the 1970s? It's like, well, we obviously time traveled. I mean, to be honest, it's unnecessary because, to be honest, the audience would probably already know this if they've been following the first two films as well. If they've been following, you know, the series by this point, you don't need to establish the theory of time travel. All you need to, because it's too complicated to explain, all you need to say is that, you know, oh, Louis, join us. I'm going to add Louis B on. because I mean, all you need to do was really, just explain it. Just well, not explain it, just reference it. Just say, oh, we traveled through time. We must have traveled through time. Why have another character brought in just to try and explain the theory of time travel? Nobody could understand that. It is far too complicated to understand. And Dr. Milo really doesn't have any relevance at all. So yeah, Dr. Milo is a pointless character, and I don't get why they named the baby after him. They don't. Why would they name the baby after Dr. Milo? It's not as if Dr. Milo did anything. I don't know. I just find it funny the fact he's so pointless and everything. The film's the lightest of the sequels so far. Louis,
Hello.
hello, hi. We're
I just got your message. No.
That's all right. Sorry about it being kind of short notice. We're on Escape from Planet of the Apes. I don't know where Jack has gone. He just kind of left. And then I came back from the loo, and he's just gone. He's probably having his dinner or something or other. I'm on Escape at the moment. So when I finish talking about Escape, do you want to talk about the first three movies
Yeah, sure. What of the original trilogy?
of the
Well, not-
of the original Saga? Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, sort of bring you up to speed. But yeah, and I really like Ricardo Montalban's character Armando. He's also very warm, and he's a very lovely character. I like Ricardo Montalban's character. He's very nice, and the whole baby swap storyline. That's where EastEnders got it from. Planet of the Apes. They nicked the baby swap storyline from there. Yeah, and it's probably the most emotionally powerful climax of the Planet of the Apes series up to this point. I would say I can't think of another Apes movie that has actually had this much of an emotional climax. Maybe the first one, but this one it's quite heartbreaking to see Cornelius and Zero, these characters who we've known for three movies, die before us at the end, which is really shocking, and it just kind of makes the statement that in this kind of world or worlds that we've seen of these movies, that the apes and humans, whilst they are very different, they are very similar. They would both kill to protect their own, and that's kind of and that's kind of a running message throughout these movies that they would do anything but right by their own race. And that's what this climax displays, is that kind of emotional theme of loyalty to one's kin, and I love that about the film. The music's very nice as well. There's a lot more comedy in this film. It's nice to have a more light-hearted film. Don Taylor does focus a lot on the comedy and the whole pregnancy plot, which is for me the only biggest misstep of this film, is the fact that they focus too much on the pregnancy and not the political plot. But overall, it's a really great film. I'm going to give it 9 out of 10. So yeah, over to you, Louis, for your thoughts.
What for Escape, sorry.
First three.
Okay, the first three. I just want to say now I haven't seen these films in like a long time, so I'm just gonna go from what I remember. So my opinions probably have changed. The first film, I got the box set. I got the complete box set of the original films a couple of years, but I think it's like 5 years ago now, and that's when I watched them all. I was kind of hesitant at first because they look quite terrible, like the makeup and stuff. But that was me being a bit narrow-minded. The first one, it's not that bad. You kind of introduce this world of monkey people. It's got quite a nice beginning. Like you see the guy kind of hibernation. Is his name Taylor? I'm pretty sure his name's Taylor. He comes out of hibernation and he's like introduced into this world full of monkey people. And you have like gorillas on horseback and like all these monkeys that are like presidents and priests, and you kind of just introduced into this world of like madness, and obviously you've got that really iconic scene at the end with the Statue of Liberty, which remains to be one of like the most iconic scenes of all films, and a really great twist that this world isn't alien, it's our world because of the war that took place. And like I said, forgive me, I haven't seen these films in a long time, so I'm just going off like 5-year memory.
Nice.
But I really do like the first film. So I think it's a nice introduction. You kind of slowly weaned into this world, like I said, of madness. Really, like you think it's an alien planet. Obviously, the twist at the end with the Statue of Liberty, it's actually Earth. Like I kind of knew that going in, which is a shame because it would have been a really nice twist to have like experienced firsthand. I would have thought. But yeah, overall, I think it's really good. I'd probably give it like an 8 out of 10.
Awesome. Yeah, fair enough.
Is the second one Beneath, or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Beneath is it. I'm just give me a second to think about it.
It's the really weird one where they go underground and there's those people worshipping the bomb. Do you remember that?
Oh, what the nuclear bomb?
Yeah.
I remember that. I actually really like this one. I think at the time it was one of my like the one I enjoyed most actually. I thought like it's odd plot. Like I think was it called the Doomsday Bomb or something? Pretty sure it's something like the Doomsday Bomb or Doomsday Device or something. I thought it was really different. Like I thought it has a twist. They could have easily done like a complete like a sequel, like they go off into space, like you find out what happens, like all of that kind of stuff. You could have had a completely different plot to this, and it was quite unpredictable, really. Like you wouldn't expect from the first film to have this film. I'm trying to think. Sorry, like I said, I haven't seen this in a long time. Just bear with me. From what I can remember, I think at the time it was one of my favourites of the whole franchise, of the original classic franchise, because I like the idea that the people are actually worshipping the bomb. That it kind of, it all goes back to the twist of the first film, really. Like, if it wasn't for the war, the planet wouldn't have been taken over by apes. Like, the fact that they're worshipping the bomb, it's pretty weird. Like, I think this is an unpopular film among fans. I can't remember if it is or isn't. But I know when I've spoken to... Yeah, I know it's quite unpopular. But as I was like... What was I? Like 10, 11, 12 when I saw this film. For me, it doesn't really... Like, I didn't go into it knowing what's supposed to be like popular, what's not popular.
Are we still doing Planet of the Apes?
Yeah.
Alright. Sorry, no, I gave my rating of Beneath, it was 7. No, sorry, no, Escape, it was 9.
Oh,
You were
great.
gone,
Yeah.
Ollie.
I've already done mine. Louis is just catching up with us.
Yeah, although I haven't seen the film in ages, so bear with.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
I'd
What-
probably
What do you
give
think of Brent, the lead?
let me Google him. Just so I haven't, like I said, I haven't seen it in a long time. So right.
What else do you remember about the film?
I just remember it being. Oh, him. I didn't like him. I'm gonna admit, a bit too overbearing at times.
Yeah, he's a bit of a wimp, isn't he?
Sorry?
A bit of a wimp, isn't he?
I really want to watch these films now and then come back. Oh, I'm really sorry, guys. Like, I haven't seen these films in so long.
That's alright.
It's okay if you want to drop by the Hangout.
No, it's alright. I might as well stay in till the
What do you remember about Escape?
That's the third one, right?
Yeah, will they Cornelius and Zero go to the 70s?
Oh, is this the one where it's kind of like it's like there's just monkeys in the zoo or something, and then I can't. Is like Caesar's in it, or is that the next?
That's the fourth one.
Oh, that's the fourth one. I can't really remember much about Escape. I remember the fourth one. That was my the one I actually really enjoyed watching. I was like really brought into that plot. Like it made me want to watch on, mainly because of the I knew about the rise of the Planet of the Apes by that point, and I knew about Caesar, that this guy called this monkey called Caesar. So that intrigued me more.
Yeah. Well, in that case, because you don't have as much knowledge about the movies as me or Jack, do you want to just sort of dip in and out when you can?
Yeah, it's fine. It's like I was obsessed with these films for a long, like when I got into them, but I haven't seen them in so long that it's just I've kind of just forgotten about half of it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Are you just gonna be doing the original films?
Just for this one, yeah.
Yeah, I might as well drop out then, because if I had known that if I had some time to have watched them, I would have done. But it doesn't matter. Like I'll drop out.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, that's alright. Have a fun cast.
All right. Well, if you want to join us next week for the reboot one, then feel free.
Awesome. Thank you.
Catch you later, Louis.
See you later.
See ya.
Well, Jack, I've talked about Escape, so if you want to move on to Conquest, then you're more than welcome.
Okay, yeah. What did you give Escape, by the way?
I think I gave it
An 8?
9.
All right. Okay. Yeah, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. This is where they sort of, well, the sequels start to go down downhill. Yeah. I mean, this film is directed by J. Lee Thompson, who, he directed some good films. Yeah, like he directed some good films in the '60s, like Cape Fear with Gregory Peck and Robert Mitchum. But like by the '70s, he started to make like pretty crappy films. I mean, the only other film I've seen him direct was Death Wish for the Crackdown, which is just an absolutely terrible film. But yeah, but anyway, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. Yeah, the story is basically that it's set during the 1990s, even though it's the 1970s, and the apes are now evolving, and the humans are sort of keeping them as pets. Like all the dogs and cats were killed by this plague or something, and yeah, so all these like apes are evolving, and they're like kept in these sort of camps, these sort of kind of like not Nazi like concentration camps, and we're introduced to the main characters. We're introduced to Roddy McDowell again, this time as their son Caesar. Milo in the previous film, and we're reintroduced to Ricardo Montalban, and yeah, we see sort of seeing how the mistreat the apes. We can't really, he doesn't really approve of it, and that we see like the apes throughout the film sort of they've been hurt and all that. And I mean, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, it's just a really, for the first like hour of the movie, about half an hour, whatever the movie, it's pretty slow. I mean, nothing really happens. It's just kind of like Caesar and Ricardo Montalban, walking along. Apes are getting tortured, and that's really it for like the first half an hour. Like nothing really happens. Like the first like hour or whatever, and it doesn't really develop.
It feels like the first movie on rerun, but it's a more modern. Like the first 40 minutes, like when the apes are being tortured, it's like the first 40 minutes of the first movie rerun, but in a more modern way. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, and stretched out. Yeah.
Mm.
It's an hour and 20 minutes long. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just shorter than the first film. No, yeah, and it's just when you're watching it, you're just like, well, this is just boring. I mean, J. Thompson's direction is pretty amateurish here. I mean, you're watching it and you're like, oh, I'm so fucking bored. I'm just so, move the plot along for God's sake. yeah, you know, we see the apes revolting, and you know, I mean, um, gets like a list film. You know, he gets a love interest, like just really cheesy, and you know, you have that scene. You know, all apes report to breeding center. You know, ding doom. Yeah, all monkeys report to breeding center. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, yeah, it's just really weird, and I mean, and yeah, we see there like Ricardo Montalban, you know, he's being sort of tortured, he's being interrogated, and they're kind of forcing him to tell him we know.
Hello?
Hey,
Oh, you
sorry,
still there?
cut out there for a sec. Yeah. Um, but you're just watching it, and like, yeah, you see like Ricardo Montalban, you know, Kirk is interrogating him, but yeah. Um, yeah, Ricardo, you know, he's being interrogated about the ape, and then there's that guy who runs the ape center, and you know, there's such fucking weird things. There's this monkey, and there's like these like disco lights. At
Weird.
one
Like,
point.
Daley Thompson, what the hell was he on when he made this film? I mean, to be honest, the best scenes of this film are the scenes with Ricardo Montalban and also the end speech as well. But, like, Ricardo Montalban pretty much steals the show apart from Roddy McDowell.
Yeah.
None of the supporting cast are any good. Like, all of the human characters, crap. Absolute
Yeah,
crap.
like McDonald. McDonald is absolutely pointless. Like, wouldn't you agree?
Well, McDonald.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't really do much. He's in it. He's in the fifth one a bit more. But even then, in the fifth one, he just it doesn't really make sense how he just suddenly changes sides like out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the whole like the plot is what racing, you know, he's like, what does he say? Like human scum or something like that? And they're like, who said that?
Or what?
And
Caesar.
yeah, and then he gets that like shock treatment, like they find
Oh yes.
yeah, and where it just looks at all the apes and they like human captors, and like the last like third of the film is like start, you know, revolting. Like they get all the guns and they're trying to fight against their human action scenes. I mean, some of the action scenes do go on a little bit, but I mean, you know, it's cool, you know, when they get all the knives and the guns and they're just being wiped out by these apes, and you know, we see, you know, when he that bit in the, you know, where he's with the human controller, and you know, I mean, you know, you have no in the reboots, but there's this bit where like Caesar goes go, you know. Yeah. But that's McDowell, and you know, Roddy McDowell, I have to say, the one sort of shining light throughout all five films, Roddy McDowell.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention my good prosthetic in the second film. Pretty good.
Sorry, you were just breaking up there a bit, mate.
Signs.
Huh?
Yeah, and you know, we'll see the Planet of the Apes soon, but I mean, yeah, the ending, the speech is good. He's like, you know, we will, but we will be fair to the humans. We'll be fair to them because he realizes that, you know, the humans can't. The humans sort of become their, you know, their slaves, and yeah, ending of the film, really crap to be honest. Some good scenes in it, but there are a lot of scenes where you're just like, this is just padding, this is just filler, you know, come on, J.Lee Thompson, you know.
I mean, it's really shocking because the film is 1 hour 20 minutes long. It's shocking.
Yeah, and sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say it's shocking how poor the pacing is.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like it's only an 80-minute long film, and yeah, the pacing is just so sluggish. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's just short of an hour and a half, and you know, you feel like that you've been there for 2 hours and a half. I mean, and that's one of the problems is that you know it could have been better executed. I mean, the whole humans, you know, the way they're mistreating them could have been done better. And it's only really the last act of the film where things start to get really interesting. And I mean, overall, it's probably
I mean,
it's
to be
not.
honest, it's like with the mistreatment of the apes, it's like, to be honest, what Rise of the Planet of the Apes did really well was that they took the attitude of less is more, in which they just showed briefly the mistreatment of all of them by Tom Felton's character, who was like zapping them with the electric stick. Um, for this film, they should have they went a bit over the top with it, like them in the chairs and lying down. You know, I don't know. It was too much, and it took you out with it. You didn't believe it. You just felt like it was just people rehearsing for a scene, acting. You know, going loopy loopy. Like you couldn't really empathize with the apes. You couldn't really care for them until they
Yeah,
actually revolted, which is part of the problem. J. Lee Thompson didn't understand about trying to emotionally invest with the apes. It just didn't feel right for me.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And the thing is,
Oh, don't know what happened there. Jack is gone. Oh, hello.
sorry, there was a sorry that the call just ended for me randomly. But yeah, I mean, going on, I mean, yeah, I think it's one of the problems with Conquest. You know, I mean, Rise got it better. You know, Rise did it in a better way in that you know you saw both sides, and it wasn't just continuous torture of the apes, and it wasn't done in a shoddy way. Like you know, we see Caesar growing up with humans, and then he's taken away, and we see why he does what he does, and you know, and in the end, you know, Conquest is just, I mean, it's not the worst out of the five originals, but it's definitely not the best. It's down there with the lesser films, like with the lesser Planet of the Apes films, and overall, you know, J. Lee Thompson, it's just very shoddily paced. You know, the action scenes are good, but they go on too long, and it's just, you know, it's just kind of a drag. And overall, I'm gonna have to give Conquest a 5 out of 10. I mean, it's not a complete failure, but it's not great either. It's just okay.
Hmm. Well, you love Conquest then?
Yeah.
Ooh, 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 ooh. um, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I don't know what else to add to that. Conquest of the Planet of the Apes is probably the one with the most wasted potential for me. It had the potential to be
I
really,
agree.
yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, it had the potential to be really engaging and like poignant, but trying to go back to the shit we liked in the first movie. But no, it's an absolute drag, and it bothers me so much. I mean, J. Lee Thompson, the guy is an absolute cack. He doesn't understand. He doesn't understand what made the first one so good. Um, he just kind of like looks at. I don't even know if he watched the first three movies. He probably didn't. I mean, to be honest, the first three films are all so different, so it was kind of hard to keep consistent. But the ideal thing would have been to go back to more of the shit we liked in the first one. Um, all of that political intrigue. I mean, there's none of that. All there is just apes being tortured continuously on the loops. Like, that's not enough. That's not engaging enough. We need to see it from Caesar's perspective, some of which we do, but not enough. The human characters are so fucking bland. You can make paper out of them. I mean, you know, McDonald is a fucking cardboard cutout of a Happy Meal box. Um, and he serves no purpose to the plot. And the whole thing with him changing sides to the good side to help Caesar doesn't resonate with me whatsoever. It doesn't make sense, and it
It's
just
just like a flick of the switch, and he's suddenly on their side.
yeah, like for no reason. Like I don't get it. I mean, I know he helped Caesar in the next movie, but like for this movie, like he just suddenly sees the apes being tortured, and then or just when he sees Caesar being tortured, he's just like he suddenly snaps. Like they could have made it so much more meaningful. The storytelling is an absolute mess. I mean, J. Lee Thompson has no understanding of structure whatsoever. He likes to drag things out he likes to pad it out to 1 hour 20 minutes. He does the thing of establishing what's happening, but he doesn't know how to progress. That's the problem. The story doesn't progress. I feel like the first like 3/4 of the film, the story remains stationary. Like it's just apes being captured and tortured until the last about half an hour, 20 minutes, when there's the big revolt, which is handled well enough. I mean, the climax is good. I'll give it that. The climax is good and the action's entertaining, and the speech by Roddy McDowall is excellent at the end. I mean,
Yeah.
I think this is one of the, you know, greatest moments of the series at the end when he gives that speech. And Roddy McDowall, throughout all 5 of the movies, he's brilliant. One of his best performances, though, is definitely here as Caesar or Milo Jr., so to speak. Dr. Milo.
Yeah.
And the prosthetics look good. Well, good enough. I don't believe that they're in the 90s. Like, you know, if you're not going to go to the extent of trying to make make it like it's look. I know it was made in the 70s, so it's a bit difficult, but what? Yeah, I suppose I had
I
to.
mean, it's like I know what you mean. It's like yeah, it's only 20 years later, and suddenly we're all that advanced and stuff.
Yeah, it just seems a bit odd to me. Like, I mean, and all the human characters, they have all this technology now. They have all this electric equipment that can torture the apes, and it's just like, first of all, they don't explain why they've imprisoned and tortured the apes. Where did all the other apes come from? Because as far as I was aware, the only other apes there were Cornelius and Zero, and they'd given birth to Caesar at the end of the 3rd one. Where were the other apes? Where did they come from? We don't know. It's never explained, and this is the thing with J. Lee Thompson. He leaves so many plot holes in his in his films. There's so many things unresolved. I know this one leads into the next one. The next one has it even worse, but it's just like, what the fuck? I look at this film and I go, what is this? Like, it's just sloppy. It is just so sloppy. The production design isn't that good. I do like Ricardo Montalban's cameo in this film. He does have some good stuff to do, like when he's being interrogated and stuff. I really like his character, and it's a shame that his character kind of dies, because that was the only thing that resonated with me. But also the kind of the cheap, tacked on mini love story.
Yeah. Oh God.
I mean, I'd rather not like to see Caesar get his banana out, if that's all right. Oh God! I mean, and it's just like the love interest. You don't even get to know her. Like, she's a pointless character. It's like we don't get to know anything about her.
Yeah.
If Caesar had come in and rescued her from a dire situation, that might have made more sense. But they just kind of look at each other and they go, "Yeah." It's like they're trying to do this love at first sight thing, and it's just like, what the fuck? You can't. I don't truly believe that people fall in love at first sight. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's obviously there was an attraction, but it takes time to develop certain feelings, and
Yeah,
they
exactly.
don't even know each other, and they just look across, and then
And they're fucking apes. How can they fall in love at first sight?
exactly, and it's just like, hello, is it me you're looking for? Like,
and then she says, "I truly, deeply love you."
God. I mean, they try to go dark towards the end, like with all of the revolt, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. I mean, like, it's so like that's the problem with all the sequels. they make the series so inconsistent, like with the tone. The
Yeah,
first,
I mean the continuity
yeah,
after the first one just goes all over the fucking place.
yeah, you might as well just stick with the first one. Just stick with the first one, to be honest. Maybe you can stick with Escape and Beneath if you really want to, but
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, it's not worth it. As for Conquest, it's a fail. It's an absolute fail. It's not the worst of the series. Another couple of
It is
movies.
a fail. Actually, I think I should lower my ranking. I'll probably give it a 4 or 3 or something.
Yeah, I mean, there are some good things like the climax.
Well, I have to say as well, though. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
Ricardo Montalban's death is such a fucking cop out. Like they scare him and then he just falls out the window.
he flies out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a bit of a cop out. But I can't help but feel slightly sad because I like his character, but it should have been handled much better. It was such an anti-climax. Like they try, I don't know. I think they try too hard to make it like this epic, and they try and build up to it. But it's 1 hour 20 minutes, so it's a wasted potential, and the direction is fucking dog shit. And I mean, apart from the speech at the end and the action climax, which is quite good, McDonald is just such a flat character. I don't know why they decided to make
He's
him
a piece of paper.
exactly from a Happy Meal. Overall, I think Conquest is a big fucking disappointment. Um, the music is all right, I guess you could say the music is okay. The bit when they get to the disco, you're just like, what the fuck is up with this cheese? What is up with this cheese? Like, why? Like, that's the problem with the sequels. They keep shifting the tone. Like, 1 minute they want to be serious and dark, the next minute they want to be light and funny, then the next minute they want to be dramatic and intense. And it's just
It's like, yeah, what is this stinky cheese? Like,
yeah, what is this stinky cheese? It's like, what the fuck are you going for here? Like, it's totally inconsistent. I mean, all of the sequels. As for Conquest, uh, it's I could just about say that it's all right. It's
I wouldn't even say that. It's
I don't
crap.
know. I mean, it's pretty crap to be honest. It's,
Well done, Jay Lee.
well,
Well done.
well done, J. Lee Thompson. God. I mean, it just really frustrates me because the third one I thought was great, and I mean I don't know how they would have continued it, but this is a mess. It's an absolute mess, and I'm probably going to give it a rating because there's a few minor things that I like. Probably a rating of about 4 out of 10 at the most.
Yeah, I
4 out of
agree.
10 is
Yeah.
pretty bad to be honest, but oh boy, the fun doesn't end here when we come to the fifth and final movie in this original saga, Battle for the Planet of the Apes. Repeat. Battle for the Planet of the Apes.
Christ.
So Jack, round 5, over to you.
Oh God, Battle for the Planet of the Apes. Well, I mean, if you could have ended it any other way, you shouldn't have ended it like this. Fucking hell. I mean,
Well done, Jay Lee.
whoop whoop, Jay Lee. Yeah, God's sake. I mean, yeah. I mean, for some odd reason, they decided to get back J. Lee Thompson after Conquest. And it's not like he directed Conquest that well, to be honest. So I don't know why they brought him back. But yeah, the budget was slashed for this yet again. And, for the final Planet of the Apes film, and it's called Battle for the Planet of the Apes, it only has a budget of $1 million. That's fucking pathetic. You know what I mean? Oh, God. But, I mean, that's just the least of the issues. I mean, the whole film is just absolute bollocks. The whole story is like, yeah, it's years after the events of Conquest. Humans are apes, or they are living together, but the humans are sort of their slaves, and we see, humans are teaching the apes to, speak and all this, and we're introduced to the main villain, General Aldo, and he's just fucking crap. I mean, he's just a I mean, he's just a Disney villain, you know. He's just like, I hate humans. I'm a gorilla, and I hate humans. Kill
It's like,
humans, you know.
there's literally, he's all he is brute force. That's it.
Exactly. He's just, you know, he's just a big fat hairy gorilla. I mean, that's all he fucking is, you know. And and we have McDonald returning, and you know, McDonald, you know, I mean, what the fuck is the point of having him
It,
here? You know, I mean,
it's worth noting that the actor was actually recast. Different guy
yeah,
played him in the Conquest. Now a new guy plays him in Battle.
yeah, exactly. And it's just like, you know, the new guy, you know, you're just thinking to yourself, well, you know, why the fuck is McDonald here? I mean, he served no purpose in Conquest, and now he's back here for Battle. I mean, he's fucking pointless. I mean, he is just so pointless. And
It
you
makes
know,
sense because of this entire feud between the humans, gorillas, and the apes. Yet there's a human on the ape side. It kind of contradicts the whole point, doesn't it? Having a human working with Caesar.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's not the only contradiction. I mean, you could really tell the budget was, you know, fucking just, you know, it was just like basically a budget of 2p nearly. You know what I mean?
Poundland.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, Poundland gorilla masks and, you know, and B&M bargain guns, you know.
So I think with Daley Thompson, maybe they shot 4 and 5 back to back, and he was brought on for a 2 film contract. Maybe that's why he did the last one as well. Um, I
To
mean,
be
they were
honest, they
made.
should have brought back Franklin J. Schaffner, you know.
Yeah. Why didn't he direct all the sequels?
Yeah, I mean, at least he would have had a consistent plot. But I mean, yeah, so we see, you know, General Aldo has a problem with humans. You know, he's a problem with Caesar. You know, he wants to get rid of all the humans, and he's just your stereotypical villain. And you know, McDonald tells Caesar about New York, and you know that you know his parents were celebrities, and they can go back and find the film of them and basically, you know, he assembles his crew, he goes off to the city. We're introduced to the underground mutant freaks again. And, you know, I mean, they get the film and then they're just chasing them. And a lot of the movie is just them in that, you know, that city being chased by the humans. And then they leave and then the humans decide to follow them. And they're like, oh yeah, we could destroy the whole city. We can destroy the whole apes. You know, yay! And you know, it's so stupid. And you know, you have Caesar's son. You know, listening to um
Oh
General
yeah,
Aldo.
his son Cornelius.
Yeah, yeah, fucking hell. But yeah, and
Uh,
yeah, it was like fucking dopey son. You know, I mean, like the general sees him, and you know the general's cutting down the branch. You know, you think the son would move, but he just stands there while the branch gets cut.
he would jump down on Aldo. That's what he should have done.
Yeah, exactly. And then you know he dies, and then Aldo tries to cover it up, but no, he doesn't die straight away. Like his father talks to him, he's like, "Oh, who did this?" You know, Aldo's like, "The humans did it, the humans." And then, you know, his fucking son, he's saying, you know, who
That's the
did?
only reason why there's a battle is over this incident that Aldo caused, in which he's so badly tried to cover his ass that he killed Caesar's son, and then that's how the battle starts. And that's just it. That's the plot.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Terrible.
yeah, I mean, there is no fucking plot. Let's be honest. I mean, and not only that, but like his death is such a cop out. Like when he says, "Son, who killed you?" and he's like, "Father, shall I be malformed?" Just tell him that General Aldo killed you, you dick. You
Yeah.
know.
But why would he phrase it like killed you? He should have said, "Tell me who hurt you." Why would he say? Because why would you ask him that question if he's still alive? You fucking dweeb.
You know, not only that, but it's just like, you know, his son could have said to him, General Aldo hurt me. You know, like when Caesar's saying like, you know, who hurt you or whatever, he's like, and his son could have said General Aldo did, but instead he says, Father, should I be malformed? And you're like, well, for fuck's sake, you know, just
Script is
tell him.
the script is bad here. I mean, at least Conquest had a somewhat all right script, a passable script, but here, no.
It's like a fucking ape wrote it. Like, literally. like someone like wrote it on the back of a banana skin, you know. Oh God, I mean,
It's-
oh Jesus, and yeah, and the fight, you know, the battle. I mean,
yeah, the
I
5 minute, the 5 minute, little hit throw down at the end.
mean, yeah, they throw a stone and that's it. Basically, that's what it'd be like. You know, what I mean, you call it battle for the Planet of the Apes, but it's not even a battle. It's like, you know, you have the humans at the end. You know, all they have is a bus and like a motorbike. Is that it? Oh God,
God.
and it's so pathetic. Like the apes pretend they're dead, and then the humans advance on them, and then the apes take over, and it's like over within the space of like 2 minutes, and you're like, oh my God. I mean, what kind of fucking battle is this? You know what I mean? It's only like they're only fighting for like a minute, and then the whole thing's fucking over. I
To be honest, it's edited really badly as well because you can't tell who's fighting who, and you don't even care who wins. To be honest, by that point, you're so fucking bored that
yeah, I mean that's the other thing as well. It's another fucking sluggish bore fest, you know. I mean,
a movie which is primarily which should have been about
it's a movie, but it doesn't even fucking move, you know.
exactly, it moves. It moves even slower than a slug. It's so slow. I mean, you thought Conquest was slow. This is even slower.
Yes. Oh God, and that fucking battle is atrocious. You know, Charlie
The stuff with
Thompson
the
should
school bus is just pants. I mean, you can tell,
be.
tell the budget was really that bad. I mean, also just the whole idea of I mean, the only good thing is that kind of the progression of Caesar's journey. You know how he has become the leader of the apes, and he's teaching all of the new ones to read and write and everything, and that's nice. But it's
Who gives a shit?
yeah, you don't really care as the film goes on, and also they try to they try to make the films emotional with the death of his son, and it doesn't work.
You just fucking laugh. You're like,
Yeah, I mean, Roddy McDowall is a brilliant actor, and he does a great job in this film, but
he's wasted though.
he is wasted. I mean, the last, he got a chance to kind of do what he could, but I mean, he can't save it, which is a shame. He kind of saved the fourth one, but not really. He doesn't save this one, and just the end of the film, like when Aldo is like showing down with Caesar, it's just like you don't care, like, and it's just like, of course it was him. It's so obvious that it was him. Just fucking grow up, Caesar's supposed to be intelligent. He would know that it was Aldo. He would know. I mean, it's not that hard to work out.
Yeah. You know, and not only that, but like you said, like the battle is terrible, and yeah, the ending, like where they're like, ape kill ape, ape kill ape, ape kill ape, and then Caesar kills, Aldo, like he pushes him off the branch. It's just pathetic, and you're like, should I have killed him? It's like, well, I guess it's okay. And he's like, yeah, free the humans, and oh God, it's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, well, in the movie's defense, I think the prosthetics are somewhat decent enough. You can kind of you can kind of get away with all of the apes and gorillas looking real enough.
I guess I'll say this in the film's defense. I mean, at least there's actors in it.
Yeah, unlike the the reboot film, which comes a couple of 30 years later, but
Yeah, but
yeah,
oh God, and Aldo's death is just terrible when he pushes him off the branch, and it's like, yeah, free all the
Free.
humans. Yeah, and the ending is just so awful. Like, when you have the statue of Caesar, it's like the apes and humans together, and you have that statue of Caesar. There's a tear down his eye, How fucking cheesy is that?
Oh,
God.
God. When I know what it was trying
Yeah, his statue can cry.
you know what it was they were trying to do, just to tie it all around in one big circle, which I suppose is a nice idea, but it doesn't really work because this film has poor storytelling. Nothing happens a lot of times. When they go to the lost city, it's I mean, you're supposed to emotionally connect with Caesar and his journey because he's discovering who his parents were, which that is probably the only genuine good moment of the film when Caesar is kind of seeing his parents in the video footage and kind of resonating with that. But the rest of the film is pants and it's boring.
It's ape shit.
Yeah, it is. It's ape shit. It's ape shit. And like, there's just so many unnecessary scenes as well of them talking. Like, like there's no all of that political stuff that they set up in the first movie is lost. They tried to reinvigorate some of it in the fourth one, but now this one they're just like, okay, the apes are living happily, and then one little incident happens, and then oh no, there's going to be a conflict. It's like you already have.
Not only that, but it's like But not only that, but it's like it's fucking up the continuity. Because I thought in the first one it was apes just ruling. Now what? It's humans and apes. You know what the fuck?
Yeah, like seriously. I mean, I know Caesar said, "Oh, we will be civil at the end of the fourth one," but that doesn't mean he would allow them to rule alongside them. You know, he might let he would let them coexist, but he would make sure the apes would be ruling. So that's a big fuck up from J. Lee Thompson. It's just like you already have a cause for the conflict in that the apes and humans they were already at war. In terms of it should have been more about their ethical reasons rather than just one incident to do with Caesar's son. It should have been about their ethical beliefs and their practices. Like politically, what is the best way to kind of move forward rather than this incident with Caesar's son, which causes anger and causes all three sides to kind of in a battle. It's like it's just so stupid. It's dumb.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Overall, it's just terrible, and the ending's terrible. I mean, to sum up my brief, thoughts on it, and then I'll let you hand over to you. And,
sorry, interrupted you.
No, it's fine. But yeah,
the opening to the film. When there's like those two, I think it's those two kids. One of them is Caesar's son, and they're like chasing each other or something.
Yeah, it's crap.
Like an argument. Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, overall, the acting is bad apart from Roddy McDowell. The story is terrible. The production is shit.
It is the cheapest looking film of the Planet of the Apes saga. And the Tim Burton one looks pretty cheap as well, but this one looks even cheaper.
And the action set pieces are a fucking joke. What action set pieces? God.
Like, the action is awful. I could have accepted Conquest as the final movie. I could have accepted that as the final film.
Could have accepted the first one as the final film, but
yeah, that's true. Oh God.
Yeah, but overall, it's crap. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 10 for Roddy McDowell, and because some of the prosthetics are good.
Well, what the fuck? It just seems that they can't give it up. I don't normally look back on this film with fondness, but comparing it to the other movies, this one's a fucking disgrace. God, how did it get so bad? J. Lee Thompson is a fucking noob. I don't know what the fuck he was on when he was making this film. But Jesus, he just there's no sense of story. Like, he's basically just he's put half his arse into this, and it's just like, oh yeah, okay, keep shitting out the waste then,
Yeah.
To be honest, this film is. I thought the fourth one was pretty poor, but this one turned out to be even worse. Battle for the Planet of the Apes, and there's barely any battle in it. Just shows how poor that this film, how low the budget is, and also how poor
it's not even a battle. It's like a slight tussle, and that's it.
Yeah, the slight tussle of the Planet of the Apes. As I've said, all of the storytelling is poor. The whole reason behind the battle is stupid. Is It's the thing that prompts it is the whole incident with Caesar's son, which is pointless. I mean, you already have, like I said, you've already had kind of a reason for the battle to occur, which is the conflict between the humans and the apes, which is something that was set up in the first film, the very first film. Why didn't you roll with that, you stupid pricks? Ugh, fuck me. I mean, fuck's sake. Why do you suddenly have to change the story? The whole nature of this is that it's been building to this conflict, this final battle, but you fucking ruin it, you bastards. You have to fucking change the story and make it about Caesar's son. It's like you're trying to add brash sentimentality to this. You can do that in other ways, but it's a fucking incident with a tree. He's cutting down a tree, and the kid hurts himself, and it's just so dumb. Like, oh god, every time I watch it, I just laugh, and it is another sluggish bore fest, as you said. The pacing is terrible, even worse than the fourth one.
That's saying something.
That really is saying something. The direction by J.D. Thompson. Well, what direction? What direction? Bravo. One fight.
Yeah.
Go on.
I mean, he's such a crap director.
I mean, yeah, as if one mini fight on a bus constitutes as a final battle. God, I mean, everything is awful here. Like, the production design is terrible. The storytelling is just the worst of the movies. Well, apart from Tim Burton's one. Out of the 5 originals, it is easily the worst, and it's easily the one with the worst storytelling. It's so poorly directed. It's like it doesn't know what it wants to do. It's called, like, it's easy, J.Lee Thompson. You drive it towards a battle. That's what it's called, Battle for the Planet of the Apes. So you drive it to that big climax. But no, you plod the story out, you pad it out even further, and you make us, cringe until we bore to death. Why, thank you. Thank you so much. Fuck's sake. God. But, oh, God. I don't even know what to say, to be honest. I mean, I feel
It feels
so
like
sorry.
a TV movie, I have to say.
Yeah, that's it. But I mean, the budget is so low that it makes you think it's a TV movie. I mean, it was probably panned when it came out because it's so bad and so cheap. It wouldn't have made much money.
I think it got universal shit reviews.
Yeah, yeah. Roddy McDowell was wasted. He gives a good performance, probably his weakest performance of the series, but that's not his fault. It doesn't build to any kind of emotional climax. Like, it doesn't conclude. It leaves so many loose ends, and also the whole General Aldo is the villain. Terrible, absolutely terrible. Like, why didn't you bring back someone?
He makes Mulan from Shan look like a fully.
Sorry, I can't hear you, but you broke up there a bit.
Sorry, he makes Mulan. Sorry. He makes Shan Yu from Mulan look like a fully developed great villain.
Yeah, I mean, Aldo is just a fucking. He's just a fucking thug. That's it. There's no real reason why he's doing this. It's just because he's a thug, doesn't like Caesar, he doesn't agree with Caesar, so he'll just have a rage out. Another Hulk out. He's basically the ape version of the Hulk, and that's it.
Yeah.
And he's not developed. His death is stupid, and the way he cowers at the end is terrible. Like, ape kill ape, ape kill ape. This is meant to be like a powerful and intense climax. By that point, you're so bored, and it just becomes stupid, and you're just like, oh right, here we go. Yeah, where it all started, up the tree. The problem is, it just ignores the first movie and all of the other sequels, to be honest. I mean, McDonald, again, serves no purpose. Doesn't, the new actor doesn't bring anything to the role. And it just, McDonald is pointless. It contradicts the whole kind of conflict, like, because he's a human working with the apes. So it seems a bit odd, really. And you know, the end of the film when they have the statue, it's kind of it's not as meaningful as it should be. I mean, it's kind of nice that they you know they hark back to the first one and kind of they had you know they're trying to tie them together, but at the end of the day, it wasn't worth tying together. To be honest, I mean, there's like lost any sense of political drama that the first movie had. No intrigue. It's just a boring film. Like you don't care about any of the characters, none of the drama. The conflict is meaningless, and the whole reason why the battle is stupid. So by the time the battle comes around, you don't even care. Like it's the last 10 minutes of the film. I think it's the last 20 minutes. And, you know, another hour and 20-minute film, and you know the last 20 minutes are just terrible. I mean, the battle itself is awful. It's edited so badly, and you can't tell who's fighting who. It's just guns, 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 and there's no excitement out of it. And there's the bus is just hilariously bad and cheap. So it doesn't build to anything. I mean, the only good scene really is when Caesar goes to when he sees the video of his parents, and that's a nice nod to Cornelius and Zira, and it's a nice sentimental nod to them. But you know, the rest of the movie's a fucking joke. It's a fucking mess. More than I mean, I thought the fourth one was bad, but fuck me, how did they get it this bad for the fifth one? Oh dear. And you know, the writing is pretty terrible as well. The script is awful. Like you just don't believe it for a second. You just don't believe it. And J. Lee Thompson can go fuck himself. He can actually go and fuck himself. He concluded this series. He didn't even conclude the series. He made another shitty installment. And you know what has he got to show for it? This hour and 20-minute ball fest. It's 1 hour 20 minutes. Again, feels like a 3-hour epic. I mean, I just don't know what to say. I mean, also,
I mean, look what he went on to as well. You know, J. Lee Thompson went on to direct terrible films like 10 to Midnight and Death Wish for the Crackdown, which has a 70-year-old man going around killing mafia men with like terrible, terrible, you know, writing like I was making a sandwich and.
I mean, his problem is he has no vision. He has no sense of vision or scope or any kind of dramatic storytelling skills. He pads. He ultimately he fills in the gaps. That's all he can do. He just fills in the gaps, and he's done it the second time now, and even worse. You know why
He's like a little kid, you know, connected.
Sorry.
He's like a little kid, like you know, just coloring in the picture. That's all he can do, like connect the dots.
Yeah, without actually, you know, justifying it. It's just a load of bollocks, to be honest. The fifth one, it's just a load of bollocks. So much for calling it Battle for the Planet of the Apes. I mean, also other characters like Virgil, who just does nothing. You know, he's pointless. Who looks like Dr. Zayas.
What is this? Thunderbirds, Virgil?
Yeah, Virgil. And you know, as I said, it just builds to nothing. So I mean, and the production design is the laziest you could ever expect it to be, and it does nothing for the films. Like it does nothing, and the continuity by this point is all messed up. At the end of the day,
Wait, whoa, 1 minute. What do you think of like the action in like what? Like, what's your opinion of the final battle?
well, if you can call it that. Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. As I've said, it's very badly edited. And you can't tell who's fighting who, and it's just guns, guns, guns. There's no excitement, and you don't feel like it's dramatic. It's just another random action scene. That's all it is, and it's not. And it only goes on for about 5 minutes. You know,
I think it's even less than that. I think it's like 2 minutes or something.
yeah, so much for calling it a battle for the Planet of the Apes. You know, it tries too hard. It thinks it's more dramatic than it is, and that's what pisses me off. It tries too hard to be this big dramatic ending, and it thinks it's much better than it is. It's a film that to me has a kind of arrogant tone to it. It might be because of J. Lee Thompson. For me, it is the second. I mean, it would be the worst of the series. It had another movie not come along years later and shit even more over the franchise. But this movie was a pretty bad way to go out for the original saga. And I'm sorry for the cast and all the creative team. And I put it all down to J. Lee Thompson. And it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. I agree that the Roddy McDowell is great and the prosthetics are good, but to be honest, I don't like this film. I hate this film. It's terrible. So I'm gonna give it 1 out of 10.
Do like a 1.
Sorry.
I think I'll agree with you as well.
Sorry, mate. You keep breaking up.
No, sorry. I agree with you as well. I think I'll go for 1 for my rating too.
Yeah, fair enough. So that's it. That's the original saga for Planet of the Apes, the 5 movies reflected on. Yeah, geez, it really did go downhill. Just you want to? I mean, obviously next week we're going to talk about the reboot era with the Tim Burton film, and then the 2 new reboot films, Rise of the Planet of the Apes and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. But just for this sort of original saga, what would you rank the films as, and what is your overall opinion of the 5 movies as a whole?
Well, if I had to rank the 5 films, at the top would be well actually start with the bottom. The bottom would be Battle for the Planet of the Apes. Wait, well, what can I say? It's just ape shit. It's bollocks. And yeah, and then it's followed by another J. Lee Thompson film, which is The Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. Then I'd say Beneath at number 3. Number 2 would be Escape, and then number 1, Planet of the Apes. And overall, I think the original Planet of the Apes saga, it's not great. I mean, it's all right, I guess. I mean, the first one is a masterpiece. The second one is good, pretty crap, and the fifth one's just terrible. Overall, I mean, I think maybe film films well more confused and they just got worse in quality. I mean, the second one wasn't great, but it was watchable. The third one was better. It was good. But then, fourth and the fifth one, it's just like, oh God. And, I mean, overall, I think the sequels just fall short of the original. And I think, maybe if you want to get into Planet of the Apes, I'd recommend probably the first one. And, if you're really that interested, maybe the second film, the third film. But if you're sort of getting into the reboots, I'd probably say the first one, then watch the reboots, maybe skip over the other 4. But
I'd skip the Tim Burton one as well.
yeah, skip that one too. Yeah, but we'll get to that next time.
Oh God.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, I mean, I don't go back to it that much. I mean, I'll probably go back to the first one or maybe Escape, but apart from that, I mean, I think it's not one of the best movie sagas I've ever seen.
It had the potential, but the sequels kind of let it down, really.
Yeah, I agree. It's just kind of like a wasted potential. So overall, I think the original saga, it's not great. I mean, it's all right. But I'd say stick with the first one. Then, if you're curious enough, watch the second and the third. And I wouldn't even bother with Conquest and Battle, and don't bother with the Tim Burton one. But
Really.
yeah, that's sort of yeah. And this is sort of my opinion. And like, if I had to, I mean, I already ranked them. I'll just 1 to 10. The second one's a 7. The third one's a 9. The fourth one's like a 3, and this fifth one's like a 1 out of 10. So yeah,
Oh,
not a great rating.
no. Oh,
So I mean, sorry. Out of 50, then, oh, what is that? Yeah, it's not a great. Yeah, just stick with the first one. But yeah,
yeah. And to be honest, yeah, you're right. I mean, the original Planet of the Apes saga, it's nice to watch to see how it all started and, what they did with the earlier films. But I just think that it's a very mixed bag. Like, the first film is really the one that stitches it together. It's a masterpiece, and it really set out what should have been a great saga. But the sequels, they just lost their way with the storytelling. It became, the continuity became so bad that they just didn't even care by the last two. The second one is somewhat decent. You can kind of get enjoyment out of it, but you have to kind of accept that it's not going to be, faithful to the first movie or continuing the first movie. The third one is better. It's a different film, as well as it being kind of similar, but it's very enjoyable. And but the fourth one is a sluggish bore fest that doesn't amount to anything. The fifth one is something else. Um, yeah, it's just very mixed. I think if Franklin J. Schaffner stayed on to direct the sequels, we would have had a
It would
really
have been a lot better.
yeah, it would have been a lot better. We would have had really good films. Um, I think they just lost the creative drive that they needed to tell the story, and because they made
I
them,
think you're right that they sort of focused more on the action towards the end. It was more like, oh, it's plot bigger and better, and yeah.
yeah, they were more concerned about scope and than anything else, more than the storytelling. I think also because the sequels came out on on a yearly basis, that it became tiresome, and you could tell that the filmmakers got very tired towards the latter films, particularly Conquest and Battle. It just like the five films, they don't feel like they belong together. It doesn't feel like they belong in the same series of films, which is kind of a problem, really. Like, there's no consistency with them. Uh, they always deviate from one another. The first one had it absolutely perfect, and that kind of tone should have remained consistent throughout the next four movies. But and they just got cheaper and cheaper as it went on. Like, the first three, you could kind of get away with. The fourth and fifth were cheap. But to be honest, I still love the saga, like, as a whole, like the whole series of films. But the first five of them, they're not going to stand as great works of cinema apart from the first one. The sequels let it down, but I'm glad I can watch them and appreciate them more. Well, most of them,
Yeah.
some of them, but I
One of
just
them.
yeah,
Only
yeah,
two.
one of them. Um, yeah, but it's just again, like you said, it's a waste of potential, and it could have been really good. Could have been really good. But I mean, at least we've got one really good one in there. I mean, at least it didn't start badly.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny. The first one's the best, and the last one's the worst. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Excuse me. But yeah, overall, I mean, I give the first movie a 10 out of 10. Second one 7, third one 9, fourth one about 4, and the fifth one,
Yeah.
it's it gets really bad. But yeah, the fun doesn't stop there.
5 out of 20 then for the Thompson era.
Oh dear. But yes, that's pretty much it for the original Saga. Tune in next week when we talk about the reboot films. So that'll be the 2001 Tim Burton reimagining, repeat reimagining,
And then the reboot of the reboot.
and then the reboot of the reboot, which is Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and then its sequel, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. So yeah, tune in next week when we talk about those three films. But adieu for now. So thank you very much for joining me, Jack. And I'm MrTardis11. This is The Watcher. Goodbye and see ya.